Hi everyone, morning. Welcome to another Thoughtful Movements lockdown lessons. Just bear with me, turn the light up a bit. So, it's Monday morning. We all arrive to these lessons in various states. If you've just woken up, if you've kind of been active in your day, or if you're coming back to the lesson at another point and you think that it might be quite a nice thing to do. So hopefully this lesson is a nice comforting lesson. So if that's something that you're in need of, then that's a good thing. So the title of the lesson, I've called it Joining Hands. Obviously that takes on a bigger context within the moment where we are feeling a little isolated, and there's a sense of kind of community or togetherness that's missing. But maybe this lesson is in some way a way for you to kind of access that feeling of comfort that you would get from feeling connected to someone else within your own space, and from yourself. So yeah, that's kind of my idea for today's lesson. The whole series this week, I think, is going to be focusing on the hands. The reason for that, obviously, is a lot of people are going to be using their hands quite a lot on laptops, on computers. And yeah, I don't know, just to maybe refresh our perspective or our awareness on how we are relating to the world around us with our hands. And I think that our hands are very close representation of our personality in some way. You know, they're very tied with who we are as a person. So working with the hand can be really profound in some way. Morning, everyone. Hi, TC. Thanks for tuning in. If anyone is a member of or follows the UK Guild page, the Feldenkrais UK Guild page, I just posted a post on there this morning. If anyone wants to head over there and like and share that would be really cool. That's basically helping other practitioners within the UK as well, which I think is a really nice thing to be doing. So, okay. So what I'd like you to do is just bring your hands together. Bring your hands together very gently and then take them apart. As simple as that to begin with. Bring them together and take them apart. And notice, maybe you can do this as you close your eyes, and notice that point that all the fingers touch. And as the rest of the hand kind of starts to kind of come together or press together, and then take them away and notice that feeling of the hands disappearing from each other, and where leaves contact last, where leaves contact first. So just go through that process of taking the hands together, touching the fingers, touching the palms. I have an elderly client in one of my Tai Chi classes who finds it quite difficult to have her palms together like this. So, you know, if you have some pain or difficulty in your hands, this may not feel comfortable for you to press your palms completely together, but just see if you can do it in a way that feels comfortable to you. And so that the sensation of touch is pleasurable. As you come to bring your hands together with your eyes closed, you can feel that that moment of touch, that moment of contact, and all the kind of sensory information that you receive from both hands. And then, okay, and then bring your hands down and take a rest. So that's a little moment just to kind of check in with your hands and feel that sense of contact. And then just take a rest, and we'll go back to that. But as you've got your eyes closed now, just make sure you're in a comfortable sitting position for yourself. Again, we would, as Feldenkrais practitioners, often recommend that if you're doing a Feldenkrais lesson, you're sitting at the front of your chair on your sitting bones, and that can give a sense of support through the whole skeleton. However, if that's not okay for you, if that's not comfortable, it's okay to do something else as well. And if you feel uncomfortable at any point in the lesson, it's okay for you to change too. You are in your own space and you have yourself as the judge of what's right for you and what's wrong for you. Okay. So when you're ready, bring your hands back together. Bring your hands back together. And then very gently, I'd like you just to move your fingers over and interlace your fingers. And just notice which thumb is on top. As you've interlaced your fingers now, notice which thumb is on top. Good. And then open your fingers, bring them back together, and then just separate them. And I'm just going to do that a few times. Bring the fingers together, move them slightly, interlace the fingers, and notice which thumb is on top. So for me, my right thumb is on top. So we, within the Feldenkrais terminology, we would call this habitual interlacing. Okay. So then open your fingers again. And just do that movement a few times where you're kind of going between the interlacing, opening the hands, coming back together. Good. Okay, and then what I'd like you to do is have your arms out at arm length. So you've got your arms out in front of you and your arms are long. And then begin to make that movement of interlacing in that long arm position. So just do that movement a few times. Again, you want to close your eyes and you want to feel if you can sort of just have this feeling to become familiar, to become comfortable. Maybe you notice your breathing as you're doing it. And you notice the point that the fingers kind of slide off each other, how the palm moves. And then what does the interlacing feel like? What does the interlacing feel like? Does it feel comfortable for you to have your fingers in this position? And you can see that my fingers are quite locked together. So it's not like a loose interlacing. It's like I'm really like down at the end of the fingers. Good. Bring your hands down and take a little rest. When you're ready, bring your arms back up. Have your palms facing together, touching together. And then very gently, I'd like you to go to the opposite interlacing. Interlacing the fingers. So now the thumb that wasn't on top is now on top. So for me, this is my left thumb is now on top. And then just open and bring them together again. Good. And when you've done it a few times on one side, can you comfortably or easily swap over to the other side? Can you comfortably or easily swap over to the other side? Good. When you've done it a few times, just bring your hands back, bring your arms down, and take a rest. So I want this to be done in a way that the arms are long. Obviously, if your arms are tired from being long, you can rest them and do this here. But there's something that's kind of quite instructional about keeping the arms in that position and having the hands do something. Good. So when you're ready, bring your palms back out. Bring your palms back out. Have your fingers touching each other. And then what I want you to do, I don't know if I can demonstrate it. Just make the movement with the thumb. So I'm just interlacing my thumb in one direction and then the other direction. In one direction and then the other direction. So I'm just doing the same interlacing movement that we've been doing, but now I'm just doing that movement with my thumb. So keep your eyes closed, taking your time, feeling this sense of kind of changing position, the thumbs sliding around each other, how they orientate, how they kind of change position, how they relate to each other. Good. And then bring the thumbs back together. Take a little rest with the thumbs. Begin to slide the index fingers out. The index fingers, then making this interlacing movement. Very slowly, take your time. If you need to rest your arms at any point, do it and then come back to the movement. And just see if you can really feel the kind of quality of touch as both index fingers are kind of communicating around each other. Like, how are they navigating each other? Good. Rest the index fingers. Maybe you want to take a little rest with your arms as well. When you've taken a short rest, bring your arms back and begin to make this interlacing movement with just the index finger. Just the index finger. And maybe you notice one set of fingers is more difficult than others. You might notice they're less dexterous. But just see if you can kind of keep breathing as you do the movement. Seeing if you can keep your hands soft. Obviously your arms are straight and long. It's a little bit of a constraint, but you're making your hands soft. Good. Bring the middle finger together. Begin to make the same movement with the ring finger, the fourth finger. So the fingers are crossing each other, coming back and crossing the other way, making the interlacing in one direction, and then the interlacing in another direction. Good. And then lastly, the little fingers. And again, just see how the little fingers relate to each other. Like, how skillful are they? How do they feel in movement? Do they have the same sort of kind of ability or kind of like command of space that the other fingers do? Or is kind of one set of fingers a little more clumsy than others? Good. Bring your arms down. Take a rest. It might have got to the point where your arms are hurting. But you can look after that yourself. When you need to, you can bring your arms down. So as you sit there, take a moment, tune in with yourself, and maybe just feel your hands in sitting with your arms resting. How have you chosen to rest your hands after doing those exercises? How do your fingers feel? How do the fingers of one hand relate to the other fingers of the same hand? And is there any kind of increased awareness that you have of your own hands now? Good. All right, bring the hands back up. Bring the hands back up. And then go back to just interlacing the fingers, all of the fingers together. Changing, swapping over, interlacing all of the fingers together. And see if you can kind of track all of the fingers at the same time. So we did them individually, but see if you can kind of feel that connection or relationship between the fingers, how they're communicating with their opposite partner, how they come together, how they separate, how they move, how they slide against each other. Good. And then just bring the hands back to this long position. Okay, bring the hands back to this long position. And a few times, just bring the hands back to the chest. Bring the hands back to the chest and then out away from you. Very gently, keeping the fingers soft, the communication between the fingers soft. bring the fingers and the hands back towards you. Good, and then away from you. So now what I'd like you to do is at the end range, when you've got your arms long, begin to slide your hands, okay? As you bring your hands back, your hands are interlaced, yeah, in one direction. And then you bring your hands forwards and you open your fingers and you swap over the interlacing and then bring your hands back towards you. Keep it nice and soft. Keep your fingers connected, communicating with each other. Coming out, opening the fingers out, switching them over, bringing them back towards you. And you're just kind of changing the interlacing each time and bringing the hands back to the chest with them in this interlaced position. And see if you can kind of make this process, this whole movement of the arm as smooth as we were making this changing interlacing of the fingers. Okay? Yeah. Comfortable, changing, coming back. And out. And coming back. And out. So this should be a little easier on your shoulders. You shouldn't be feeling the same amount of strain. Good. And make it softer. Make it softer. Make the whole process softer. Good. And then leave your hands in this position that's close to your chest. And then just play with the interlacing in this position. Play with the interlacing. Change to one position. And notice as you change and your hands are in this position, what do your wrists do as you change? So you can see as I change, my wrists open up at some point. Don't know if that's a conscious behavior. See if you can leave the palms together. Is that possible? It's hard. Good. And then bring the fingers back together and then just elongate the hands, the arms out again and back towards you. Just very gently taking the fingers away from you. See if you can track the fingers, the direction that the fingers are going. So each time you go away from you, maybe you can track the direction of a different finger. So you could start off with the thumb moving away from you, how the thumb moves away from you, comes back. The next time you could take the index finger away from you, comes back. And the middle finger. Good. The ring finger. And the little finger. And we're going to try and interlace them individually. Okay, so let's start off with the little finger. So I want you to, as you take your hands away, change the interlacing, bring them back. As you come away, change the interlacing, bring them back. Now this is just the little finger. Change the interlacing, bring them back. Just do it a few times. Change the interlacing, bring them back. Good. Okay, then bring the hands back together. Then we can move on to the fourth finger, this one. So as you come forwards, you change the interlacing, and then you come back. Come forwards, Change the interlacing and come back. Change the interlacing and come back. And see if you can do this with your eyes closed. Keep your breathing soft. And see if you can kind of have a softness spreading over your whole of your arms. The whole of your arms and your fingers as you're doing this. Focusing on the sensation of touch and the change of fingers around each other as you make the movement out here. And then the softness of the arms as they come back out towards you. Good. The next time you come forwards, change fingers. So have your arms out in front of you, have all your fingers long. Begin to make this movement with the middle finger. Middle finger coming back, coming forwards, changing the interlacing, coming back. Coming forwards, changing the interlacing, and coming back. Notice if your breathing ties in with the movement in some way. Does your breathing begin to coordinate? Good. Come forwards. Bring the middle fingers together. Do this a few times with the index finger. Changing just the interlacing of the index finger and coming back. Maybe you notice a change in your sense of kind of relaxation in yourself as you do this. I could have called this lesson something to do with hand mudras. It's very similar to making mudras with the hands. Good. The last one, so the next time you come forward, swap over, just interlace the thumbs. Interlace the thumbs as you come back, swap them over as you come forward, making sure they're kind of going around each other. You know, they're always in contact, they're always communicating with each other as you do the movement. One is covering the other as you come back, then they start changing, swapping over. One is covering the other as you come back. Good. Once you've done it a couple of times, just interlace your whole hands as you do the movement. Bring everything forwards, swap it over, bring everything back. Making sure that you feel that this whole structure is soft as you come back. The fingers are soft, the arms are soft. As you come forward, you open out. The fingers glide around each other, and then coming back. Okay. And then bring your arms down. Let your hands rest. If they stay interlaced, that's okay. If they want to kind of separate and have their own space, that's okay. But notice how you are now after doing that. How do you feel in yourself? What's your sense of kind of alertness to your physical state? How do you feel? Do you feel more alive in some way in your physical state? Something around stimulating kind of our sensory perception. that can kind of improve that feeling of aliveness in some way. Great. So that was today's lesson. Hope you, for the rest of the day, enjoy interlacing your fingers in different ways, maybe playing with the sense of touch a little. And we're going to kind of carry on with that. We're going to move to another lesson tomorrow to do with the hands. I like this subject. I think it's a really great subject to explore. So I hope that comes through in my teaching. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, how you found it, what you experienced. If you'd like to share the lesson, you can go to my Thoughtful Movements main Facebook page and share the lesson live from there. If you want to watch the lesson again, you can do so in my Thoughtful Movements community group or on YouTube. Again, thank you for watching. I will be back here tomorrow. Also, if anyone's interested, I teach a Feldenkrais class. Problem with the Wi-Fi. Let me check that. Yeah, I think I'm on the wrong one. Sorry. So yeah, I have a class this evening. The subject of the class is going to be kind of focused on the pelvis, the movement of the pelvis, and how that can make us more comfortable in lying on our back, and how it can make us more comfortable in lying on our front. So if anyone's interested in that, the lesson is 8 p.m. UK time. Everyone's welcome. The cost of the class is £10 or $15. I'm sure other currencies can convert, but everyone's welcome. The lesson's taught in English, and it's like an hour-long lesson of some of the stuff that we do in this, but mostly in lying down. Okay. So thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks TC for letting me know. I didn't check my Wi-Fi before I started. I will correct that tomorrow. All right. Take care. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.